Hello, Mary. Mary. Try and sort this one out. Let's talk about fish, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about fish, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that can be. Let's talk about fish. Fish. Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about fish. Instrumental break. Let's talk about fish, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about fish. 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 Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about fish. Fish. I think that one will do.
And do real well.
I'll play it back and I'll see what I think. I think it's probably the nuts. And that'll be the one.
Oh, craziness. Craziness. Fish. Right, D3V. I hit the wrong button. I hit a button up there that killed everything. So I had to bring it back to life. Oh, J Dog was on the phone here this morning. We got a website coming up. It's going to be online September 1st. And it is Fatherfish Aquariums Plural.com. September 1. It won't be finished, but it'll be up and operational. And we'll be able to start doing some things. I want to get a lot of streams out. We'll see if we can do that. We'll just probably do links to the YouTube channel. Jake, how am I? I don't know. I'm gonna be 80 soon, and I think I'm feeling it. I've just got the morning everything's sort of up in turmoil. See, there's a sign for you. That sign means all mixed up. Could be used for chaos. Could be used for storm. Could be used for the way my stomach feels right now, or my brain is all mixed up. I'm okay. J Dog turns 40 in a month after I turn 80. You're catching up with me. Only halfway to go. Tommy Denda, we entered a black hole. Indeed, you did. You know, I clicked on the kill everything button, and then I had to go back and redo it. So here we are this morning, and it looks like we're doing a 2 hour morning stream. I don't know. I don't know how I really feel about that. I guess it's okay. Let's see. What do we got here? I got it up twice for some reason, but it's the same thing. So I guess that's all right. I wanted to look at Father Fish in the Morning 827 right there, and I got to turn the volume off, get it kicked in. 3, 2, 1. Advertising. You know what? I can't do it. There she is. Jess, Mainstays, Sir, and Fins. We got a report from, who was it last night? I was on with Kenny and crew. And we had this absolutely lovely call in yesterday. There it is. From Jess in the middle of the storm. Lovely woman. So appreciative of her call. She said the storm was like a locomotive coming through her house. But I guess she's okay. She got through it okay. No significant damage. So we're very happy to hear that. That was a bit traumatic. Tommy, do I ship to Europe? No, I don't. And I don't even know how. I know to do that, I have to have a broker here and a broker there. And also has to have certification for the shipment. And that means that the shipment has to go to a vet and they have to sign off on it. It's a little complicated. I used to do that before 9/11. I shipped all over the world, and it was never really a problem. Now it's, unless you're a commercial import exporter, it's just difficult to do it. There are shops that bring stuff in. There are individuals who bring stuff in. They order it. It's shipped out by a shipper from wherever and lands either in Miami, New York, or LA. Is picked up by a broker who signs off on it, usually reboxes, and then ships it on. So theoretically, I could go to Miami, pick it up, get a broker there to bring stuff in. Shipping it out, I don't know. It would have to be a sizable shipment to make it worth doing. It would not be worth doing for $100. It might be worth doing for 1,000, but I don't anticipate shipping $1,000 worth of anything out of here anytime soon. So I guess the short answer, Tommy, is no. I don't ship to Europe. There are some things I can ship, probably driftwood. I don't think I can ship soil, the soil additive. Things that are not alive or not something that could carry microbes or whatever. Could I have dealers in different countries in Europe? Oh, well, that's a different issue. Yeah, the Father Fish, we're talking with a couple of people right now about figuring out a way to franchise Father Fish. It's kind of a complicated issue because it means putting a lot of things together, including a product line and procedures and all of that. Oh, Jesse's here. No, she's not. I'm sorry. I still got her. I still got her. Let me just remove that from my screen. Um, so that's something that's doable. What is J Dog saying? You can't build it into the site. All the international laws. Yeah, exactly. I don't think I want to. I don't think I want to get into it. Lee, hi Lee. So, wow, I sent those stickers almost 2 weeks ago, Lee. Sent them Tuesday of last week, so it's been 15 days. No, 12 days. It's been 12 days. I don't know. I don't know. I could do it again. I guess I've still got your address here somewhere. I'll send them again, Lee, in case they got lost somewhere. Happy to do that. Notification. Yeah, I don't know. I did not do a a schedule this morning, so there would not be that notification. The only one would be a notification that I have a live stream going. The dirt supplement. Yeah, I don't think the dirt supplement would be legal. Um, because it theoretically contains living organisms. I don't think it actually does, but it could. Whoa. Arcus, good morning, Arcus. Thank you. Good to be here. Aquatic Conquest. Hello, hello. Where is that? Don't send them again. I'll probably get them for Christmas. I love the gift to wake up to. Yes, indeed. Um, Alexander Lee. When I spawned my Melibotania basmani, and their first food would be vinegar eels, or is that even too large for them? No, it's not too large. They'll also take microworm. Vinegar eel would be a better choice. Blake had an interesting perspective on that. He feeds a lot of vinegar eels to fish that stay in the top of the water column, which the baby basmani will do. They're not going to be feeding off the bottom the way rams are, for example. So I feed a lot of baby brine shrimp and um, microworm because most of the fish that I spawn are fish whose babies stay at the bottom. Presumably, most of the fish that Blake spawns stay at the top. So, and that's the difference between vinegar eels and microworms. Microworms sink to the bottom, vinegar eels stay at the top. So it's a matter of getting the food to the fish where they are. And vinegar eels will be just fine. J Dog. Okay. Let's see. I need to do something here. Give me a second. Who's on the phone? Nobody. Nobody. Hi, Daniken. You guys are awake this morning. Daniken called me. Oh my. We're going to be going to a place called Warm Mineral Springs this morning. It's not far from us, about 15-20 minutes. There is a runoff that we can get to. It's not on Springs property. It's really a kind of a glorified ditch alongside the road. That's a runoff from the spring. The water is very, very high in mineral content, and it's also quite warm. So there are populations of fish in there periodically that are of interest to hobbyists. And I was told just the other day that it is swarming with fish. So I'm hopeful that we're going to be able to get two specific fish that I have found there in the past. One is the sheep's head minnow, the little pup fish, and the other is the sailfin, green sailfin molly. So we're going to check it out. It may be a bust. If there's something in there, we'll get something. So that'll be interesting. And we'll live stream that as well. So you'll be able to see these guys mucking around in the water. And I think it's going to be, last time I was there was a few years ago and it was pretty muddy. So it's likely to be pretty muddy. Lee, I have new fry. They keep on coming. Well, you got a lot of live bears in there that are very healthy and doing well. So they're going to be producing fry routinely. Misfit recently moved to Northern Oak collecting, but not sure what I may find. Any idea what wild aquarium fish live in my area? Anything small enough to keep in an aquarium, Misfit. You need to get out there and find out. Get yourself a fine mesh net, biggest one you can find. If you can find grass beds to push through grass beds or creeks where you can move stones around and scare stuff into the net, see what's there. That's the fun of going collecting, is to find out what you got, find out what's there. I have no idea. There surely will be darters, and they should be really pretty. So good chance you can catch something that'll be really quite nice. Keep us posted. Do a little video or whatever. When you get there, you could even come up here if you've got some stuff, and we'll take a look at it and see what you've come up with. That sounds really exciting. Blake says, congrats, Lee. Let's talk about fry. Baby, you bet. Aquatic contest, I cap. Did you use a bottle cap or something different? He. He. Lee, I thought the four of you might have gone on a bender last night. It would not appear today. Good, you are here. They were so wiped out, they went home and slept, and then got up in time to do James's 11:30 stream. I plugged into it. They did it in the hotel room. I was going to invite them back over here, but by that time I was ready for bed too. So They stream from their hotel room. Lee uses his wife's cap. I see. Pushing the edge, are we, this morning? Pushing the edge. Richter Belmont, I'm fine. How are you? Dark Snowflake, 28. Good morning to you. Tommy Denda, Misfit. Do you know the Facebook group Native U.S. Aquarium Fish? Yeah, they would certainly be able to help you, Misfit, but you're still going to get out there and see what you can find. So get out there and do it. Do it, do it, do it. Richter Belmont, I'm great. Good to see you, Richter. Danny Ken, sounds like fun. Yeah, it'll be fun. You'll enjoy it. It might be messy. If you can wear a bathing suit, particularly James, wear a bathing suit. That way you're not gonna get your pants wet. I don't have a shower here at the shop. I do have a hose. You can hose off, but no shower. Oh. Roman Chirac, good morning. To improve the look of a dirted tank, leave 1 inch of space between the front glass and the mud mixture. Then add sand, which fills the space, hiding the mud. Mud needs to be stiff. Yeah, that's right. It certainly does. And that's a really good idea, Roman. It does make it a cleaner looking fix. And you could even make it a little shallower than otherwise. So it kind of slopes down toward the front. Lee, no budgie smugglers. Shorts. I see. We will bathe with the catfish. Oh, yeah. What else here? Oh, dear. Blake, Father Fish drank them under the table. 3 of them are passed out on the floor. I wouldn't be able to get past the first shot. Might do one, but I won't do two. Ah. Now these are straight arrows. These guys, these are fish people. They're not drinking people. At least not on the trip. At least not on this trip. At least not here. I can't say more than that. Oh, glory. Oh. Roman. Ah, right. So Lee says, Roman, great idea. Sue doesn't like the look of the dirt. I like it because of all the activity I can see. For her, I might follow your advice. Well, you'll be setting up new tanks, so you can certainly do that as you move along. And you can, I'll tell you what I do when it gets real bad. If you'll take a pencil or even the end of your fish net and slide it down along the glass all the way to the bottom in the front, and then just move it back and forth, it will replace everything that is up against the glass with sand. And it's a simple thing to do. You just try it, you'll see. Put a pencil or the end of your fish net all the way down to the bottom, right against the glass. And then slide it back and forth, and you'll see that it will bring clean sand to the front. And if you do that all the way on the bottom, it'll also bring sand down to the bottom. So you'll be able to achieve that effect even after you've got the tank set up. Isn't that wonderful? Oh, Gloria, I'm tired. Richter, you're fine too. Richter says I'm fine too, Grandpa. Scooby's throw, Scott's friend. Dark Snowflake, your Scott's friend. Nice to see you, Dark Snowflake 28. Good to have you with us. Lee suggesting he could use Sue's cooking spatula. Oh, kitchen utensils are ideal for fish keeping. They are perfect. Kitchen and gardening utensils. Kitchen utensils are even better. So by all means, um, use the wife's spatula. Just rinse it off when you're finished. Put it in the dishwasher or put it back in the drawer, but do rinse it off. You don't want snails crawling around on it. Good morning, Peplin Creek. Deb Sharma. Oh, Dedican saying see you soon. Yeah, they're on their way over. They stayed at a hotel last night. I only had one bed available for three big men, so that wasn't going to work. So they got a hotel room. Let's see. DZMN not here again. Well, he'll probably show up. We're early. A lot of people who are normally here in the 9 o'clock hour aren't used to this 8 o'clock thing. We've been doing it, kind of creeping up on it for about a week. In the last couple of days, we've actually started at right around 8 o'clock. Had a number of people say they enjoyed the longer stream, and it gets me up and out early, but I don't really mind it. So long as I can get out of bed in the morning, we'll keep doing it. Of course, I have to not only get out of bed, I got to drag myself into the shop. Coffee, but that's no real strain either. Hope this is hot. It's hot. It's day old. I think it's from yesterday. Might even be 2 days old. It's Frank on the phone. Hi there. How are you?
Okay, you?
I'm good. I'm down here doing live stream.
Oh, crap. I'm sorry about that.
It's all right.
Decide where you want to go today?
We're not going to be able to do the Boca. We can do the Warm Mineral Spring.
Okay.
They've got to be able to get back before dark.
Okay.
So we'll do that at 10 o'clock.
At 10?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
yeah. And that'll be
Well,
fun.
I mean, yeah, I've never been there, so.
You'll like it. It's a neat place.
Okay. All right, very good.
Good.
All right.
See you in a bit.
Call me.
You bet.
All right, bye.
All right. Lee, serious question for once. 50-gallon and no water changes in 2 months. No evaporation, some cleaning of the glass only. Should I do a water change? How often and how much? Please answer. My rule for water changes, Lee, is to do them as needed. Morning, Betsy. How are you?
How are you?
I'm good. A little tired and weak and worn out, but although we went collecting last night with the boys. They got in. I don't remember what time they got here. Around 1 o'clock or so. And I got them busy putting all the plants in the tanks, so that was good.
Excellent.
And then I took them out Center Road, and we collected in the big ponds out there.
Wow.
And one of them, just we had to drag him out of the water. He did not want to come out.
Oh, he loved
As
it.
James, he was in there up to his neck, loving it.
Ooh.
And he got a bucket full of stuff. So they're going to be here around 10 this morning, and I'm going to take them down to Warm Mineral Springs.
Oh,
Val
very
was
nice.
telling me yesterday that that the fish are swarming there. So, and there are a couple of species, if they're there, that'll be really worth collecting.
Wow,
The,
nice.
The desert, the pupfish, the sheep's head minnow that we got before that we had breeding in this 40
This one
gallon up
right?
here.
Yeah.
They may be there, and green sailfin top minnows. I mean mollies, green sailfin
Wow.
mollies. So we'll see.
Yeah,
It'll be a
that'd
neat
nice.
little trip. It's
Absolutely.
close,
And it's close. Yeah. Wow.
and it'll be different. Something really different.
yeah.
You know, a mineral springs runoff. That's kind of unusual to run into.
Yeah.
I've not been there in a couple of years.
Wow.
Uh,
I haven't. I mean, I just go by it on 41.
Yeah, a friend of mine took me there years ago, John Coleman. I met him when he was the head curator at Shedd Aquarium in Chicago. Met him in about 1978, and just fell in love with him. Wonderful guy.
Wow.
And then I moved down here in 91, 13 years later, and ran into him at a pet shop here actually it's in Fort Myers.
What are the chances?
Isn't that amazing?
Should have played the
And he
lottery
just
that
lived,
day.
yeah, and he just lives down the road here a piece. He moved here soon after I met him.
Yeah.
He died about a year and a half ago. Sweet man, a lot of fun. Loved to collect. He had a permit to collect saltwater, and we'd pile in his car and go. He had places he went to that were just really. He had spent 30 years finding extraordinary places, businesses as well. He found a fellow out in Arcadia, out in the middle of nowhere, in a building off on a farm, who collects, or then did. This has been 15 years. Collected African art, African craft art, the old stuff,
Oh, wow.
the old all of the old sculptures and masks and all that craziness. I had another friend who was a child in the Nazi concentration camps in the 40s. He was a little child, like 5, 6 years old. And boy, did he have stories. Almost never see him anymore.
Hello there.
Yeah,
I was hoping it was the crab.
a palmetto bug. Yeah, there's crap around. Anyway, when he was liberated, he was like 12 or 13. He went to the Ivory Coast of Africa and went inland and made friends with all of the villages as he traveled inland and collected all of this art.
Oh,
And
wow.
he had a big old brownstone that was chock a block with all this stuff from the 40s and 50s.
Wow.
You know, worth millions of dollars.
Wonder what happened to it all.
He donated it to a woman who set up a museum, but beyond that, I don't know. I
Yeah.
lost track of him years ago. I met him in the 80s, the early
Wow.
80s. Yeah,
Oh.
just some of the characters you read into, just
Yeah.
utterly extraordinary stories. So I'm here talking to Betsy. Betsy is an absolute wonder. I can't brag on her because it's top secret. Um, but she worked for the government for years in a very how can I say it? A very important and critical capacity, having to do with the president and his family. So she knows her way around D.C. and the White House and whatnot. And she doesn't never tell stories about it, but we don't get stories yet.
Sorry.
But she knows Dan Bongino
Yes.
because they work together. So, and Dan occasionally will breach his confidences minimally, just
Minimal.
little bit, tiny bit, just enough.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Betsy is she ain't doing none of that anymore. She comes in, she's very active in her church. She's a good Catholic girl, works in the diocese, and she comes in here every single day, 7 days a week, and takes care of her animals. And they love her for it, and I think she loves it too, and we love her for it. So she's just a real important part of us. And right now she's feeding the turtles.
Are you talking to anybody?
Yeah, we've got about, let's see how many people are on here. 23 watching right now. 13, 14 thumbs up.
You had a good day yesterday, didn't you? Or at least the morning was good.
Yeah, we did about maybe just under 200.
Oh, okay.
I need to do 5 today.
Yeah,
I'm in a hole.
yeah.
I got myself in a hole, so I got to bail out.
Hopefully, yeah, you have a good day today.
Yeah. Yeah, otherwise I'm gonna be.
Yeah.
I'll get bailed out by Monday night, Tuesday,
Good.
but between now and then, and really it's only one more tonight, and then I'm okay
Good.
after that. So we'll just see.
Yeah. Okay.
Wonderful.
Yes. Dale said the last day is today.
Yeah, she. Do you know why? I think she got bent about, I don't know what, but probably the screens.
Oh, yeah, she didn't understand. And I said, well, I'll be honest with you, it was hard for me to open it. It doesn't just slide out. It gets crooked and off, and then this side's sharp. And besides, you know what? We've got frogs in there. They like to be on the glass. They won't come up on the side with the metal.
Right, with the screen, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was kind of the same thing as last time. She's got this sort of attitude that she ought to be able to do whatever she wants with no comeback.
Yeah, I yelled at her for throwing out the duckweed. I said, I need that duckweed.
Well, there you go.
Yeah,
that
I
was
need it.
that was enough
I
right
need it.
there.
I said,
Ah.
I said, well, next time. I said, oh, well, there won't be a next time. Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Well, Jonathan will be in today, I think.
Okay.
Maybe you'll get a chance to meet him.
Yeah, if not,
He
I'll
gets
have
there
to
early
stop
enough.
in one afternoon.
Yeah, the guys will be
here.
in 9:30 or so. So if
Okay.
you're still here, be a chance to meet them.
Yeah.
One of them is from Oregon, and he's traveling. Kenny is traveling all around the country, visiting people who are on YouTube in what's referred to as the fish family. So all the fish keepers. So that's great fun. And he picked up 2 of them in Knoxville and brought them down here. And they're guys I've been palling around with. Well, we all have.
Yeah. Oh,
You
that
get
is
to
so,
know people.
That is so,
So
cool.
that's been fun. Yeah.
Wow. Huh. That's amazing.
Isn't it
good.
ever? I mean, I'm talking right now to people in Bombay, London, Australia, just all over the world. Denmark. Where else? Yeah.
All
England.
enthusiasts.
Yeah. All fish people.
I love it.
Fun.
Good. Yeah. Perfect. Okie doke.
Lee is saying, I met Betsy. We were on a Black Ops mission in Nam. Don't tell anyone. Hi, Betsy. Probably true.
Yes.
She says, thumbs up. Yes. There you go. And Lee says, Betsy, bugger off or I'll get put in their address. Your address. Oops. Give them your address. We need you to have something to go up against that's real. Cassie B. He's ignoring us. I'm not. I'm not. I, I just wanted to give you a chance to meet Betsy a little bit. She's such a magnificent person, but she doesn't like to be on screen. So I can't bring her on. Occasionally she'll say hello, but like that. Leah's saying Iran. Oh dear. Am I down to the bottom? I guess I am. Are German blue and German blue rams the same fish? Probably. Um, what German blue? There is a discus that is occasionally referred to as a German blue, but that's a bit more esoteric. German blue typically refers to rams. I would feel confident with that. Cassie B, we love you. Betsy, and all you do for Father Fish. You betcha. Lee, she will kill you. She will kill you. She has long arms. She can reach out. She will kill you. I don't mess with Betsy. I play nice with Betsy. Are peppercorns and salt and peppercorns the same fish? Again, I would say yes. The thing about common names is that they have no official capacity. Any book that describes fish uses the Latin name, which, while it occasionally changes as more research is done on an animal and it's determined that it belongs to one class and not another. Common names, while they may be listed, are listed as just that. And very often, the common name will be the name given by local people to that fish in the wild. The arapaima is a good example of that. Arapaima, if I'm pronouncing it right, and I'm probably not, is the name that the local people give to the giga, the giant freshwater fish. What else here? Cassie B, it's Latin, means of man and machine. So I need to go back. Lee, I did not finish answering your question. Let me get back to it. Do you do water changes? And my answer is I do water changes as needed. And I determine whether a water change is needed by several factors. If the water has not been changed in a very long time, and by that I mean, excuse me, typically a year or more, I may do it simply as a routine, simply to get built up minerals and whatever, built up nitrates out and get more fresh water in. I do try to be careful about replacing from the same water source so that I'm not putting water in that's substantially different from the water that they are used to. Um, if the nitrates are super high, I may change it if no other reason than to get the nitrates down. Nitrates can become toxic, but they've got to get to a level where you wouldn't want to put your finger in the water for fear of getting something weird happen to your finger. Um, if the plants are not thriving, that's a good reason not only to do water changes, but also to try to beef up your substrate. I've got a tank now I need to do that with. It's been set up for about 10 years, and I began harvesting. And as a result of harvesting, I removed what had become much of the minerals, the mineral content of the tank that had gone into the plant. So I'm pulling plants out and in the process depleting the tank of its mineral content. So it's to the point now where it's not really growing plants the way it was. So we'll do that one online. We'll do that one as a video. I'm going to go in and we've got some frozen fertilizer cubes. That are comprised of the supplements that I mix and sell for the dirt. So those are frozen cubes. We're going to push the little tiny ones. We're going to push them down in the substrate, and then I'm going to cap the whole thing with another inch of sand and replant it. And we'll see how that goes, but that'll be interesting. Has anyone in here gone to school to be an aquarist or AMP? I started my college course this past Monday. Don't know anyone who has. Stephen, who's probably not here right now, probably will plug in though. He's a thoroughly trained professional. I'm not. I think I only took one science course in my 9 years of college. We do have a man coming on in a week or two who some of you have kind of met in passing. That's Andres Ryan. Andres is the owner of BioAquatics, which is local to us. I've done live streams there. Corey did a video there a year or two ago. It's a remarkable place, but more to the point, Andres is really a very remarkable man who has bred nearly every fish kept in captivity that you can put in a fish tank. Should do that caveat. He's bred thousands of different kinds of fish and has studied each one to learn what their native habitat is. So he's unique in that he brings in what's called FO. FO is wild caught fish. He brings wild caught fish into the country and tries to set up an environment that's comparable to what they came out of, and then feeds them up, beefs them up, provides whatever structure they need in order to be able to breed them. And his success rate is way into the high 90s. He rarely fails. And as a result of that, has been able to bring in new genetic structure for some animals that have been overbred in captivity, but also new fish that we haven't seen much in captivity. So I talked to him the other day, and he will be available to us in a week or two. We'll try to get him on. I need to get him lined up ahead, and we'll get him online live with us from his farm um, one morning on our live stream. So that'll be good fun. Andres Ryan. Lee Wilcox, 6 inches of dirt and 1 to 3 inches of sand. Yeah, Lee's going up against this here. He's decided that he needs to push Father Fish aside because Father Fish obviously doesn't understand the higher levels of fish keeping. So he's setting up an alternative Father Fish called Lee's Aquatics, where he tells the true story of how to keep tropical fish, and he begins by insisting that they need to be kept in 6 inches of mud, capped with. Now, Lee, I heard. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard you were recommending about a half an inch of fine grade boulders as a cap for your foot deep of dirt. Do correct me if I'm wrong about that. Lee, can you deliver me a megalodon? I have some family. I'd introduce. You mean a live megalodon? That would be good. Andre's my favorite breeder by far. Never have gotten my cartilages to breed if it wasn't for him. He is that's Misfit. He is remarkable. We've had him any number of times speak to our club. He's really happy to get out and meet people. He's a great conversationalist, and just a world of information. Lee, what equipment do I need to check the water? Chemical dips or an electronic device? I don't know if there's an electronic for nitrates. There might be. You can certainly you can certainly measure the hardness with an electronic device. pH is another one. You want to check the pH. I try to keep my pH above 7.5. I don't like it getting down to neutral because if it does, it can crash. It means there are inadequate carbonates in the water. So that's a sign too that you need to do a water change if your pH is dropping. Sorry if I'm being disjointed here. Things keep bumping into my brain, and I get off going down rabbit holes. So drag me back when I do. So pH, nitrate, the issue of nutrients is really not what you can solve so much with water changes as it is with doing something to re-nutrify your deep substrate. And as I said, I got in trouble with it by pulling plants out, using it as a mother tank and seeding all of my other tanks with this lush growth of plants. And there was that reached the terminus. It reached the point where it could not continue producing without doing something to replace all of the nutrients in effect that I was taking out. So be aware of that as well. Well, these kids were taken away from him when they were in their 40s, which seemed appropriate at the time. Aquatic, is it considered neglect not to check water parameters regularly? I don't. Um, and the reason I don't is because I try to be aware of what's happening in the aquarium if things are not going as they ought to be. Now, keep in mind, a lot of my aquariums are system tanks. So it's not just one tank, it's 50 tanks that are kind of all tied together. So something that's going to happen in one is going to happen in others as well. So I get a little more notification, but try to learn to how to say this. I had a friend, Henry Hall. I've talked with you about him before. Now, Henry Hall maintained bare bottom tanks. And the reason, but he also maintained a very thick layer of filtration material. He used thick foam, 4-inch thick foam, sitting on trays on top of this tanks, and he with an airline flowed water through a tube into those trays. He did that because he kept very large fish. And by very large, I mean his tanks were 100 gallons and larger. He had fish, none of which were smaller than 3 foot. So he kept a very large fish. He had several fish that were 5 to 6 foot long, electric eels, for example. He also had a caiman that was 5 foot. So keeping them in a dirted tank or even a sandbed tank would simply create so much detritus, he would have to go in there and clean it out. So he solved the problem by filtering it out, and then he would simply clean the filters. So there are considerations for how you do your tank based on what you're trying to do in the tank. For most of us that are maintaining smaller fish in a community kind of environment, the deep sand bed makes perfect sense. So in any case, to finish up this story for Aquatic Conquest's benefit, he could look at a tank and know what the pH was by looking at he said color of the water. I'm not sure he was seeing the color of the water. I think he was seeing the sheen of the water or something else about the water. I could never do it, but he could look at a tank and know that the pH was off. And he would immediately do a partial water change. A fish that was laying on its side, he knew exactly what was causing it. And it was typically a pH problem. That was one of the difficulties he had to make. It was critical for him to be able to do that because of the nature of the tanks he was maintaining and what was going on in those tanks. He had a huge biomass working through those tanks that pulled down the carbonates. So periodically, it was absolutely critical for him to do water changes in those tanks in order to be able to maintain pH. So that was kind of the long answer. The short answer, Aquatic Conquest, is to try to get a feel for what's going on in the tank and try to notice not just fish behavior, but also plant behavior and also substrate behavior, if you will. What's happening in the substrate? If suddenly you're getting a lot of scum, you're getting too much detritus, or you're getting too much algae growing on it, any change that's not satisfying find a way to restore that to a more for you appropriate condition. It may be simply adding an inch of sand. That's the fix for an awful lot of things. Clearly, there are limits to that. And the limits are if you're adding an inch of sand to a 20-gallon wide tank once a year, you can only do that for 7 or 8 years before you only have 2 inches of water left in the tank. So there are reasonable considerations for these fixes. Yeah, it'll be fun to have Andres here. Is arowana the same fish as Saratoga fish? I do not know the answer to that question. Let's see if we can look it up and find out. Sarasota. Saratoga. I got Sarasota. That's funny. TOG. Saratoga fish. And we got a picture of. Yes, it is. The southern Saratoga, Sclerapage lechardi, also known as the spotted bony tongue. To give you a picture of this. I love these fish. I've got little ones right now. I have had big ones. I've got one that's only about a foot long. They get utterly monstrous. Let's see. Let's go in and pull up a picture that we can see a little better. How about, here we go. Here's one. Caught it on a popper. Cato Fishing World. And this is more what they look like. Here's a big fat one. Caught on a lure probably. Magnificent fish. They can grow 3 to 4 foot long in the wild. I've seen them 2 foot plus in tanks. There's a big one. Look at that. South American fish. There are arowana in other parts of the world. There's an Asian arowana that's in, is it in Africa? I don't think so. There are a couple of them in Asia, a couple of different kinds. There's a red one, and there's a brown one. There's an Australian arowana, and of course, there are a couple of different South American arowanas. That one looks odd. That looks like more like a bass. It's got a look at the arch and the difference between that and that. Look at the difference there. They don't look like the same fish, do they? They do get big. There's a wonderful book called Dragonfish, I think it's called, written by a young woman who was a reporter, I think, for the New York Times, who saw a dragonfish. These are also referred to as dragonfish. And she became so captivated by them that she literally traveled all over the world trying to find these fish in their native habitat. And her most extraordinary trips were to Vietnam, Cambodia, the Philippines, maybe Indonesia, looking for the red arowana, which only exists in captivity. They think it is extinct in the wild. There is a possibility that it exists in a wild population in Borneo. She was not able to find that. She did finally, let's see if we can get a picture of a red. She did finally find a population of them in the water, splashing up out of the water um, in South America, I believe. And that was extraordinary. Anyway, a fun book, a great read. Now check these guys out, dudes. Look at this. Isn't that amazing? These fish are not allowed to be brought into this country uh, by federal law. It ostensibly to protect them from predation in the wild, notwithstanding the fact that they do not exist in the wild. They only exist in captivity, and every one of them is micro tagged. So it would be impossible to bring one in that could not be identified as to its source on a farm. There are hundreds of farms throughout the Mideast, the Far East, I should say, throughout Vietnam, Cambodia, and so forth, raising arowana, the same as koi. There are arowana farms all over the place. These are fish that sell in the Far East for thousands of dollars each. They're extraordinarily rare and magnificent, just utterly beautiful, beautiful fish. And someday we'll have them. We've got some people working to try to get these approved on the import list so that we can begin bringing them in. It's going to be an uncommon fish to have. The babies will run about $500 for little 6-inchers, but they will be available. And once they are, we'll be able to get them breeding here and be able to have that population of fish here in this country as well. Let's see. I've lost track here. Row is on. Hi, Row. What time is it? 1:15. Aquatic Conquest is saying my sand is sinking. And what's the solution for that, Kane? Add an inch of sand. Aquatic Conquest. Paul C. Andre breeds neons with control on pH. He controls pH on everything. He's the only person I know who really knows how to do it. I don't even try. It's way beyond my fish keeping skill level. Fish Pappy is here. Patrick Paulson is here. How much do you need for shipping to Denmark? Probably would be willing to ship to Denmark for a $10,000 order. That'd be worth all the rigmarole I would have to go through to do it. I don't know, frankly. I guess I'm going to have to look into it, find out what is actually involved in shipping to other countries. I'll talk to some friends who do it. D3V. Paul C. likes the 6-in-1 test strips. They're okay. Don't use them as the final authority. If you find something with the 6-in-1 test strip that doesn't look right, then check it with a better monitoring device. Check it with chemicals. Don't depend on the strip. They tend to deteriorate. They can get air polluted and lose their potency. A lot of things can happen. They can even bleed into each other if they sit around too long. So they're good if they're fresh and relatively new. Don't depend on them. They can give you a heads up if there is a potential problem. Lee says dip strips are hard to read when you're colorblind. That can be a problem. Aquatic Conquest bought a kilo of sphagnum. That's wonderful. That's such great stuff. Kilo of sphagnum moss. We bought a pound of willow moss yesterday, and I think Kenny divided a couple of them. I guess Ed did too. They were dividing it up and putting it in lots of different tanks. Oh boy, I've lost a lot of conversation here. I'm just going back and back and back and back. Lee's saying he had mud and added sand. He was just horsing around. I tease Lee all the time. Don't take anything I say about Lee seriously, especially if I say something nice about him. Just don't take it seriously because I tease him all the time. And he does the same thing. You just have to have a big salt shaker. We should do a salt shaker as well as a bell. Do the salt shaker for teasing and the bell for sand. Aquatic Conquest. What propounded the fact was I had a litmus paper, but it was 10 years out of date. So it gave me a false reading. Collected rainwater gave him a pH of 8.9. That would be a dead giveaway, wouldn't it? Electronic meter faulty. Yeah, you have to reset the electronic meters. And to do that, you've got to have something that is absolutely a set figure, whatever it is you're testing. So a good test with pH is RO water or what am I thinking? RO water, which has a pH of 7.0 typically. All right, we got back to Lee delivering a megalodon. I'm going to go forward. In fact, I may go all the way to the bottom and just be done with it. Try to catch up to where everybody else is. Blake is here. Hi, Blake. Be careful mimicking salt shakers on streams. I see. All these dirty boys in here. Honest to God. Salt shaker, right? Oh dear. Sue is blind in one eye, and you're colorblind. Aquatic Conquest, in regard to the pH situation with the electronic meter, it was RO told me that rainwater couldn't be that high. Yeah, there is a little knob in the back. It contains a fine little screwdriver. You can reset it, and a lot of these electronic things you need to reset. Sometimes you have to buy the reset liquid that's available from the company that sells them. If you're measuring nitrates, for example. Barramundi is a bass, right? Is barramundi a bass? I don't think so. It's an Australian game fish. Well, it sure looks like a bass, doesn't it? Let's give you a picture of it here. Oops, had it and threw it away. One more time. There we go. Yeah, it's clearly not an arowana. It sure looks like a bass, doesn't it? Catch, clean, cook in Florida. So we've got barramundi in Florida. There's the monster. Topwater dreamfish. Big bugger. Let's see. I want to get a picture of the Australian arowana. Now that looks like the Asian to me. Really pretty fish. In Florida, we can only have the Giardini. In Florida, we can only have the silver, notwithstanding the fact that nothing else could possibly survive in our waters, and the silver is surviving in our waters. It's become a game fish. So I think in the case of Florida, a lot of these laws, with the possible exception of piranha, are going to be loosened up. Look at that. Look at that. Cosmetic surgery. The next big thing. Cosmetic. Look at that. Isn't that extraordinary? Cosmetic surgery on an arowana. Amazing. Steffens arowana. That's a great one. Red. That's the Asian. There's a species new to science, a scrolled arowana. And there's a baby. I've got some of these. That's a baby Giardini. So magnificent fish. Just amazing fish. The bell is loud when you're wearing headphones. My apologies. I'll ring it one time so we don't blow anybody's eardrums out. Maybe get a quieter bell. Chevy Fish is usually here and usually lurking. She plugs in when there's work to be done. Oh. Well, Lee, why don't you come on up here? I'm running out of gas. Come on up and give us a kick in the pants. Baby dolphins. I have had baby dolphins. I don't have any right now. They're actually not a dolphin. Um, they're really a catfish, I guess. They look like an elephant nose without the nose. Neat little fish, real hardy, hold up real well. J Dog looking for a brine shrimp hatchery video. Yeah, there are a lot of them. A lot of ways to do it. Oh, we're back to aquatic sinking sand. All right, let's just jump forward here. Then you can all tell me what I missed. Every time I want to put forth this idea, he skips it. All right, Sam Dan, what's the idea? I'm going to pay attention until I find it. Aquatic conquest. Agree to a degree, but genetically modified species are commonplace. You can see it in fish, cats, and dogs, to name a few. Certainly true. Talking about make the doing subtitles. I don't know how to do subtitles. That would help. All right, Sam Dan. I'm going back. Description is description considered subtitle. Sam Dem saying not all the time, suggesting once a week. Be great to download Fatherfish knowledge on a topic when it's concentrated. Be good for the channel too. Yeah, we started doing that a little bit. It's if it's not done as we're doing it, you know what I need? I need to get one or two people approved to be able to go in and do modifications on my stream. That would allow somebody to go in, for example, and add comments on the description text. Dev Sharma. Hello, Dev Sharma. Lee is leaving, or did leave, whatever. Lattes Carifer Barramundi. Oh, Blake has a Saratoga. How nice. More like a snook. Yeah, it did look more like a snook. Gotta agree. Lots of hybrids in both Asian and Saratogas. Yeah, Sam Dam he's talking about something that I've thought about a lot too. I think, frankly, the only way to really be able to do it is to edit, to be able to go in and cut and splice and edit, and then set up a directory that you could use that would be a topical directory. And so you click on a topic in the directory, and it takes you to a 5 or a 10-minute video on that topic. Barramundi and Saratoga live together, in North Australia. Cassie B, what are your thoughts on feeder guppies versus common guppies? I'll tell you the truth, Cassie B. On the fish farms here in Florida, when the farmer harvests his pond, his guppy pond, he'll go out, and this is a pond that has maybe 1 million guppies in it. He'll put some traps out. He'll bring the trap in, dump them in a big vat, and then he'll go through and hand pick out the nicest ones, male and female, and sell them as fancy guppies. The rest get sold as feeders. So there you have it, and that's SOP for the industry. If you want real line bred guppies, you have to get them from a guppy breeder. You're not going to get them from a fish store unless they're working with a guppy breeder to help move their product, sell their fish. I occasionally, very occasionally, get some such guppies in here, not frequently. I've had them in maybe, one time there was a guppy convention here in Southwest Florida, and a lot of the fish came in after the show. Well, of course, when fish are shipped in from all over the world, they are auctioned off at the end of the show. Well, the auction was over, so they brought all these fish into me, and I bought them all. And I had magnificent guppies. I've also done that with bettas. That's rare, very uncommon for that to happen. And it was very exciting when it did. There are not a lot of people here in Southwest Florida doing fancy line red guppies. That's more a kind of a northeastern thing. New York, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Jersey, DC, Virginia. Through there, the guppy breeders they tend to be in the Northeast. And it's mainly because they've been doing it for a very long time. Not to say there aren't any elsewhere. There certainly are. The best place to find them is probably on Aquabid, and be a little careful. Make sure you're buying from someone who you have checked out and has a really good favorable rating, with comments to the effect that these fish bred true. But you can certainly get them that way. Sam Dem wants me to start doing topic-oriented streams. I think we'll probably do that with Andres. We can do it if we have a guest on, obviously. It's really difficult to do it otherwise because we get off track so easily. I get off track so easily. I wind up, somebody will say something and something will come into my head, and all of a sudden I'm down another rabbit hole. And it happens routinely. And Blake said, where's the fun in that? Sam. Yeah, I know. I kind of feel the same way. I think that's part of the reason I'm doing this now is the 2 hour, because it's working really effectively as an open forum. Just curiosity. I want to see how many. We've got 31 watching. So we got people in and out. I don't know how many we've had. we'll know when we hit the when we finish and look at the analytics. It'll tell us how many have been watching, but it's typically well over 100. So there's a lot of traffic here, and it's picking up. We're getting more and more. The Massey Report. Hi, Rat. Sam Dem says we should exploit Father Fish. Go for it. Times when he starts on the topic, it's stuff you've never heard before. So you want to ask him more questions to get more out of him, and he gets distracted. I know. You know what would help? I really need help with this to make it work. I need somebody sitting here with me, maybe live, reading the chat and saying, Father Fish, Sandam's got a question. Because I miss it. I get going on something, a bunch of things scrolls by, and it's gone. If there's anybody, who could do that? We could do it. I could probably do it with headphones and do it on the telephone. Because I'm pretty sure that she's keeping up with everything. And you all know who I'm talking about, Miss Chevy Fish. That would be ideal to get you on my phone saying, Father Fish, Aquatic Conquest wants to know. And don't make me go looking for it. Tell me what it is, because I'll never find it. Captivated with my storytelling skills, Aquatic Conquest says. You caught me. You got me. Cassie B says, you need your own Jimmy. Yeah, I do. I absolutely do. A co-host. I get distracted by the co-host is the problem. I'm thinking that to bring people on live with me, I need to put a time limit on that, like 15 minutes. Or if it's something extraordinary, half an hour, and then do breaks. That'll be fancy. Lord, I don't know how I would do that. Because I lose track of time. But I've got a set of headphones, and I can wear headphones. Or just use the phone. I can plug the headphones into my phone, maybe, and use the phone that way. I don't know. Part of the difficulty here is that I'm not sufficiently technologically sophisticated to be able to do very much. So I'm kind of behind. I mean, it has its own charm, I guess, but ultimately it's less charming and more burdensome. A Friday special topic. Yeah, I was talking to Lee at one point about doing a Friday Madness, getting him on one day a week. Oh. What I need to do, I think, is get Chevy on voice so that she can talk into my ear or whatever. Handbrake.com. Great for adding text or subtitles. Boy, now there's something I'd like to be able to do. Thank you for that. Handbrake.com. And BRAKE.com. I'll look that up. Yeah, I've wanted to do that. Add titles or notes to videos and have not been able to figure out how to do it. Text. Small chunks of video. Well, that'd be the idea, I think, to do the. See, now there you go. To do that, to go through these hundreds of hours, or what will be in fairly short order, hundreds of hours of videos, and cut and splice them all, is an enormous undertaking. I don't have time to do it and run this shop. I can't do it and run the shop. So until I can get this shop off my hands, off my plate, to the point where some other people are doing it, and that's in the works. I think we're going to get there. I'm not going to be able to do any of this other stuff. Yeah, they're late getting here, aren't they? It's 9:40. They'll be here momentarily. Peplin Creek's looking for the boys, playing on the beach. They may well be. Yeah, Roger, if you can keep me on topic, I will put you in charge. A timestamp. That's a thought. Cassie B, put a timestamp in for topic. Not a bad idea. Then we still need to be able to index those topics. So we need some kind of format. And I really am thinking about doing that on my website, trying to set up an encyclopedia kind of approach on the website that would be a click through to a video. And that could all be on YouTube. That wouldn't be a problem. Just click through to YouTube. You got to be able to click back is the problem. And that is a problem, because once you're on YouTube, it becomes difficult to get off. So adding feeder guppies is the same as adding any kind of guppy. Well, it's the same as, yeah, sort of. It's the same as adding what you would otherwise normally buy. It's a $5 pair of fancy guppies in a fish store, because that's what you're getting. Genetically, that's what you're getting. You're getting feeders. Not true for all feeders, true for most feeders. All right. Ha. Dragon Lair's back from watching Kenny James and Ed on the beach. Really? Is that what they're doing? That's funny. That's funny. I should find them. Wonder if I can find them. Are they still there? And are they on Deniken? Or where? Oh, here it is. Streamed 9 minutes ago. They still live? 4, 3, 2, 1. They're not live. Let's get them.
morning, good morning. Oh man, the water is warm here.
Look at this.
I am at the beach, guys. Hanging with my boys, Ed and James. We have actually completed my circuit now. In the month of August, I've officially put my feet in the Pacific and the Atlantic. Man, there is riptides here. There's Ed over there. So yeah, guys, hanging at the beach. Getting ready to go see Father Fish. Gonna go do some mud minnow collecting or something. Buffalo head. Whoa, man, that is ripping. Yeah, let me show you what I'm looking at. Nothing but beautiful, beautiful. The water feels like it's about 75 to 80 degrees, if not warmer. Just phenomenal. I should have brought my snorkeling gear down here. There's my two partners in crime this morning, Mr. Fishroom Fever and Chattanooga. Woo! Back to the ocean. Whoa! Man, I'll tell you what. There is a riptide, isn't there? How you doing, Dragon Lair? Rebuilding our brand. Fish Streams, how are you? Yeah, it's my last day in Florida. James came up with a wonderful idea to hit the beach before we go to see Father Fish this morning. I'm glad he did it. It's awesome. Now I wish we had all day. Got some divers out there this morning.
No. No, we don't. Great fun. Well, I'm glad they made it to the beach. We were going to try to do that
Yes,
today.
we are, Dragon Lair. That's why we came down here. Ed loves his shark teeth.
And we just weren't going to be able to do it time-wise, so I'm glad they did this.
Oh! And James is always getting down and dirty with it.
Look at this. James has a phone that he can actually film underwater with. Dragon Lair. Talking about rams.
James was filming his feet,
Yep.
yes.
Yeah, the Germans need kind of 82 minimum.
He says he's getting some slow motion wave shots this morning.
Ah, nice.
Ed's still waking up for it.
Bolivian or German rams. I recommend the Germans. They're smaller, more colorful, easy to be able to maintain. You'll enjoy
Sorry
them.
about that, guys. Almost dropped my phone in the water.
Oh dear.
I caught her before she went under. It's a S-series, so I probably would have been all right, but it's got some underwater footage till I found it.
Ah,
Ooh. Uh-oh. Just remembered I got my
the Bolivian gets
feelings
considerably
in my truck in my
larger.
pocket. Probably saltwater ain't going to be good for that. and my wallet.
All right. Well, they'll be plugging in here momentarily. Dragon Lair. What are we talking about? Joanna, Father Fish recommends keeping all fish at 80 to 82. Policy says temperature varies much more in nature. That is true, but trying to vary temperature in a fish tank is a completely different issue. And Dragon Lair says, can't keep fish at that temperature. You'll shorten their life. Not my experience, Dragon Lair. I have not noticed that it shortens the life of the fish at all. Particularly small fish that don't live forever anyway. With discus, 85. I keep angels with discus at 85, rams also. Other kinds of earth eaters, chocolate cichlids, some other South American cichlids. Here's the issue with temperature. While it's absolutely true that the temperature in nature of a body of water varies depending on season, time of day, and so forth, trying to duplicate that in an aquarium is a fool's errand. Unless you have a very big system where the temperature can be changed gradually. And unless you have some kind of an electronic device that allows you to do that mechanically or electronically, you're never going to be able to really pull it off. Some people keep their fish at a lower temperature in the winter and a higher temperature in the summer. And that generally works okay, except that when you hit the spring and the fall, you tend to get ick blossoms. It tends to create a situation where the temperature drops suddenly. And it need only drop a few degrees, but suddenly to stress the fish enough that when they do, they drop their slime coat. A very strange adaptation because it makes them susceptible then to parasites, and the ick is a parasite. So a sudden drop in temperature of just a few degrees can cause the fish to get ick. Now, if your eyes on that tank every day, routinely, faithfully, not missing a beat, even every 2 days, you can catch it and deal with it, and it'll be fine. But if you miss it for 3 or 4 days or 5 days, you're going to start finding dead fish in your tank. So I recommend a stable temperature in your tank year round. Don't try to get into changing it. Now, the caveat is if you're trying to breed a fish like a Cory cat or other animal that needs a drop in temperature and a kickback up, but you're going to do that in a very controlled way. And you're going to be observing it very carefully as you do it. Trying to allow your aquarium to fluctuate between cold and warm based on air conditioning is a sure way to kill your fish. Or even based on the normal temperature fluctuation occurring in the environment where you live. If you are a very sophisticated hobbyist and you pay detailed attention to everything routinely. And you're looking at that tank every day faithfully. You can do it. It can be done. Frankly, I can't do it. I know of one or two people who can and do, and they get away with it because they have a level of tenacity and of discipline that makes them aware every moment of every day what's going on in their fish tanks. So, enough about that. Stephen is here. Sorry, I'm behind. Been busy. Temperature is a debate and topic all in its own. There are facts regarding temperature and practices. Rose going live. Dragon Lair saying I'm not recommending chasing temperature. I'm missing your point. What's your point, Dragon? Don't mean to speak for you or misinterpret what you're saying.
I'm so sorry. I got to mention the lady wants a hand cut parakeets. So I took them home 2 days ago. They were $40.
Yep,
Okay.
perfect.
Okay.
That's
I'll
it.
see you tomorrow.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Joanna Batista from Toronto. Does it differ from Florida and other parts of the U.S.? Or okay to keep it, say, 80, keep it 77 now, but keeps going up during the day, even with the AC on. Lighting can do that too. Lighting, or if you have pumps that are only on at a certain time of the day. Lee was having a problem with his water getting too warm because he had so many pumps running in it. So that can cause a fluctuation as well. My concern is for the sudden drop, and I find that occurs seasonally. A sudden drop in temperature of 5 degrees or so, maybe overnight, whatever, that results in fish getting sick. So I try to make sure I've got heaters in all my tanks in the spring and in the fall, even more importantly than in the winter. Just that there are fish that can't deal with temperatures over 80 consistently. Well, certainly cold water fish can't, and there are some cold water fish, but really very few in the hobby. Name a few fish that you consider Dragon Lair cannot deal with temps over 80 consistently. In terms of the kind of fish that I have here in my shop, I really don't know of any. I mean, I've got zebras, danios, which is sort of a cold water fish, but they do fine. I've got some in with discus, 85 degrees, and it doesn't seem short in their life. They do fine. So, what are you thinking about? GRB, good day. Nice to see you. Dragon Lair, I want to pick this up later. We're running out of time here, and I'm really interested in following through on your comments. So give me, let's see if we can pick it up tomorrow. What's the day? Thursday, Friday. Let's see if we can pick it up tomorrow. I have heaters in some of my tanks. Fast flowing, high altitude streams. Absolutely. I have none of those kinds of fish here. If you are a collector and you're living in a temperate zone, then surely you need to have your water at cooler temperatures. No question about it. For most of us who are collecting fish from tropical fish stores, that's rarely, if ever, the issue. But I've got a lot of admiration for people who are able to keep these cold water fish. I can't do it. Florida just doesn't allow me to. I don't have the kind of conditioned air that allows me to keep fish in the 70s. Everything gets into the 80s, and they don't survive. Sticklebacks, I've tried a number of times, cannot keep them alive, and I know it's because it gets too warm. So, buttons. Thank you all. Delighted to be here. Delighted to be hanging out with you, as ever. Great fun. The guys are going to be here. Well, there they are. Come on in and say hi. I'm just signing off.
Oh,
Come on in and say hello. I want to get Lee up here, and then I'll go back over. I'm going to turn this off. There we are. There's Ed.
hey there, guys.
They just walked in the door.
I didn't find any shark teeth.
You didn't.
I thought I saw one, and I was going to wait for the tide to go or the water to go back, and it was gone.
If we have a minute, I know where we can go. Well, we'll be able to find some. And I've got a 10-pound pile of them
Yeah.
over here. I'll give you some.
Well, I wanted to ask you what you have, like 2 big eggs, or those some type of
There
fossilized
are
egg?
2 like this that are emus.
Oh, they're
There's one
emus.
like that that's an ostrich.
I was
So,
wondering.
yeah.
What the... Sorry, folks. They're just really cool. There is all sorts of fun stuff to look at in Father Fish's shop.
Stephen says I could do a whole thing on temperature and the effects it has on different species and what they need and don't need. That would be fun to do, Stephen. And I think there's a lot of interest in that and a lot of concern about it. I typically don't carry cold water fish, so it's kind of a non-issue for me. So you went out to the beach this morning. What beach did you go to?
Venice. We went right by your
straight
shop
down
and straight
here.
down.
Oh, cool. Yeah, if you
The
go
waves
down,
were a lot more powerful than they normally are.
really, so we're getting some of that hurricane coming over.
It would have been some good boogie board.
I'll bet, right. We can do that. There's a beach further down. There's Kenny. Hey, come say hello.
Woo!
We're still live. We brought your vid up. We watched you.
When
on
we
the
were down
beach.
on the beach, yeah, that was cool,
that was
man.
fun. What happened?
Heck of a riptide down there.
Well, we're getting that hurricane.
Is that what
That's
that is?
coming across the Gulf. Yeah. James, hi. Go stick your heads in. Say hello.
What up?
We're just about to sign off here. Been on for 2 hours. So we're going to go do a collecting trip,
Shenanigans.
right? Going to get James back in the water. He's got his bathing suit
I'm
on.
already wet.
Hi,
ready to
I'm
go.
getting in the water.
Look at
I've got
the 3 of them. All right. Okay.
pineapples.
So we're going to head out and do this. They're going to be back on the road by noon. So I'm going to get them out and get them back so
Pineapples, huh?
we can get them going.
We're professional amateur adventurers.
Professional amateur, yes, you are. No question about it. All right. So nice to catch you guys at the end here.
There's
gonna-
Mr. Lee.
So we're gonna sign off.
Hello, Mary. Mary, try and sort this one out.
Come on, man.
Let's talk about fish, baby.
Let's talk about you and me.
Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about fish.
Yeah.
Let's talk about fish, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that can be. Let's talk about fish.
Bye, everybody.
Have a good one, guys.
Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about fish. Instrumental break.
All right. Nice to be with y'all. Fish streams. Fish, fish, fish. Nancy B, thank you. Joanna, Peplin, Misfit, Lisa, Dragon Lair,
Let's talk about
Tisha,
fish, baby.
Patrick,
Let's talk about you and
Rose,
me. Let's
Susan,
talk about all the good things and the bad
GRB.
things that may be. Let's talk about fish.
Bye, everybody. See you
Let's talk
tomorrow.
about fish. 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 Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about fish. Fish.
Yeah.